putting that phone down, going back to the 60 minutes and 5 minutes. I took it serious because I tried it the first time, still had my phone out, failed miserably. It went horribly. I was right back on my phone like 15 minutes into it. And so what I had to do was, yo, what's goody, Latrell in a hoodie, and welcome to another episode of the Brother Next Door podcast, where we talk about finance, personal development, and skills to get you further in life through actual steps and my own personal experiences. In this episode, we're talking about developing hard work, right? Today we're talking about developing work ethic. And so that's what we're going to go into. But before we do all that, like, subscribe. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like about the podcast. If this is your first time seeing me on your screen, I appreciate you. I don't know how you found me, but I'm glad you did. You're in for a treat. Um, and check us out on social media. We're on Instagram right now. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all of it. And so definitely check us out everywhere when you get the opportunity. But if you've been rocking with me for a while and you haven't left a like, you haven't subscribed, you haven't done all that stuff, then definitely get that out the way before continuing this episode. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. So let's get right into it. I'm going to give you guys 6 things I've been implementing in order to get better with my work ethic. I struggle with work ethic because of my focus. I just can't focus. And so these are things that I'm working on. This isn't something I've mastered. This isn't something that's past me and now I'm a monk and can stay in deep focus. Like, no. This is something I'm actively working on as we speak. And so I'm bringing this to you now rather than waiting, a couple months, years, however long it takes for me to master it and then no. I'm going to give you the information now. That way y'all can start working on it now as well if you're struggling with it. And hopefully these tips help you along your journey, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, whether it's a side hustle, hobby, whatever the case may be. I believe these steps will help you in every aspect. And so let's get right into it. The first thing you want to do is set specific goals, right? You want to know what you're aiming at. You want to know where you're headed towards. And so it's important that you have a direction that you're going in. And so what you want to do is set a specific goal. What do you want to accomplish at work? What do you want to accomplish at school? What do you want to accomplish? Whatever the case may be. And then have sub goals where they are based off your output. They're not based off other people, but they're based off your output. Okay, I'm going to study for 2 hours every day. Okay, I'm going to get better at this certain skill every day. Okay, I'm going to post something online every day. Whatever it is, it's based off your outlet and not based off others. Because what happens if you place it on others, then you might get discouraged if you don't reach that goal because it's out of your control. You can't truly control how many people watch or engage with your content or engage with what you do, or even at work, like or not like what you've outputted. And so it's important that you focus on what you can do and doing the best that you can and not necessarily worrying about the outcome as it pertains to writing out these goals, right? Next, let me talk about myself for a second. And so for me, this looks like at work, I am about to graduate college, right? And so with that comes an increase in salary, which is great, which is cool. It's crazy because I got a salary increase this week. And so all the bonus, salary increase, all that stuff is happening this coming up week. And then once I graduate in May, I'm going to get another salary increase because I've graduated. And so right now, my goal is okay, my main goal is get a certain salary, right? And so, and I'll just let y'all know between 85 and 95,000, right? That's my goal. That's my goal salary. That's where I want to be at. And so, in order to get there, I need to become the person that's outputting enough work to receive that type of salary, right? What am I doing? How am I contributing to the company to deserve between 85 and $95,000, right? And so that's on me. And now some of y'all are like, well, they still screw you over, Latrell. Just because you putting in all this work doesn't mean they're gonna pay you that. Right. A thousand percent. A lot of people do a lot of hard work and still don't get paid what they're worth. But that's not my mindset, right? My mindset is okay, what does a person making 85 to $90,000 generally, what type of work are they outputting? Okay, how do I reach that level within the next 2 months, right? With all the experience I've had over the past, almost 2 years, or not almost 2 years, but year and a half, whatever, how do I, in this last little push, this last little stretch, how do I make myself look like, you know what I'm saying? I'm putting in 85 to $95,000 worth of value to this company. And so for me, that looks like going out on the floor. That looks like fixing the machines. That looks like learning and improving and giving my input during meetings. All these different things where I'm actually contributing to the team and not just on this, make it seem like I'm still on the intern role, right? But actually an engineer role, which is what I am. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm putting in more hours out on the floor. I'm putting more hours out on the machines. I'm learning more. I'm growing as a programmer and all these different things. That way when that time comes for negotiations, hey, I've done this. I've improved on this. You know what I'm saying? I have a whole lot more ammunition going into the process than I would have just sitting around and doing nothing and not actually putting in the work because school or whatever the case may be. So that could look like whatever that looks like for you in your situation, whether it's at work or any, aspect of your life. Set that goal, right? The main goal doesn't have to necessarily be based on what you're doing. It could be salary, right? It could be based on others. But the sub goals, right? Those sub goals, the things that are going to get you there, those cannot be based on other people, right? They can't be based on, hey, you worked on this project and you want your boss to tell you good job. You can't do that because you're not in control of whether your boss tells you you've done a great job or not, right? You're only in control of what you output to your boss. And so moving on to the next one, apply the 1+ method. So what does this look like? This looks like you do a project, you get the project done, and then on the next project, you do one thing more. So it's easy with programming because it's okay, I'm gonna do this one project, I'm gonna get all the requirements done, and then I'm gonna do one more. Okay, so I'm gonna add, I'm gonna make it more efficient. I'm gonna make it a more efficient project. Okay, now this next project I do, I'm going to make it as efficient as possible. Okay, I got this project done. Next project. Okay, not only do I know how to do a project, but I know how to make a project more efficient. Okay, how do I make it easier to read through and find different things in the program and all, like just make it as user friendly as possible. And now you go through that for the next project, right? And so you're doing these things to where you're still getting the baseline done, right? At the end of the day, you're doing what your boss told you to do. But then you're also adding these little things that just develop your skill set in the process. So you got to think of it as going to the gym. So if you're going to the gym and you're lifting weights that are way too easy, right? You're just lifting 2.5 pound dumbbells or whatever. Yes, that's easy, right? For some people, I ain't gonna say for all, but for me, if I was just doing the 2.5s, I wouldn't see any growth, any change, right? No matter how much I did, it would take way too many reps. It would be so inefficient that it wouldn't be worth it just doing the 2.5 dumbbells, right? And so what you want to do if lifts is lift weights that are effective within the rep range. So if you're doing 5 to 10 reps, okay, cool. I'm gonna pick up these 80-pound dumbbells. I'm gonna knock out these chest press, whatever, or whatever you want to do, right? 80-pound dumbbells, knock out chest press, and then move on. Okay, now I'm actually stimulating the muscle. Okay, now the muscle's actually growing compared to just with the 2.5 dumbbells. Hopefully that makes sense, right? And so when it comes to the 1+ rule, you want to do something that's actually challenging, something that's actually stimulating what you have going on. If you're already a great person when it comes to focus, okay, work for 60 hours, that's crazy. Work for 60 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Work for 60 minutes, take a 5-minute break. I developed that about 2-3 years back when I was going through some of my tougher classes. I I couldn't give you 30 minutes, right? But eventually, as long as time went by, I started developing that muscle of, okay, I'm gonna study for 60 minutes, take a 5-minute break, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, text somebody cool. Whatever that 5 minutes was gonna be, that was for strictly relaxing, not even thinking about the textbook. And then go another 60 minutes of just strictly studying, then another 5 minutes. And so I do that up to, 6 hours. And that was my 6 hour studying time on the weekends. And so I lost that skill. I ain't even gonna hold you. I stopped doing that because the classes now just don't require that type of time commitment. But I'm trying to get back into that for work and just applying that same amount of time and work ethic to work while at work. That way I can continue growing and continue developing even at a faster rate than I am now. That way, once if I decide to leave the current company or whatever, if I want to stay and there's opportunity for raises or whatever the case may be, then I position myself to get a even higher raise after May or whatever the case may be. Next, the third one is take time to critique your work. Some people call it an after action report. Call it what you will. But you want to take the time to critique your work. What went great? What went bad? What can you improve on? That's what I'm starting to do with these videos. I'm going back and watching them. As much as I don't want to, I got to and I need to. And so going back, watching the videos, okay, what am I saying that I don't like? What am I not saying that I should say? How can I expand this vocabulary to say, to be more articulate in all these different things? You have to be able to watch your content as if you were watching, film as an athlete. And so whatever that looks like for you, even at work, projects you're doing at work, take time to reflect back on that project. What went well with communication between your boss, between contractors, between subcontractors, between safety guys, between whatever. How was the communication? How was the execution on your part? How was the execution on everybody else's part? How can we make this process as smooth as possible next time? That's what I mean by taking time to critique your work. That way, next time you go into it, you know what you can improve on. So not only do you have a one step to take, right? Not only do you have something to look forward to improve on, or to get better at, a new skill to get better at, but you also have something old to improve on, right? So not only do you have a new skill set that you get to work on, but you also get to improve on what you already know. Next, fourth, find people that will run with you. What do I mean by excuse me? What do I mean by this? When I say find people to run with you, have a group of individuals that are in at work. This is easy. This is just your coworkers, right? When it comes to me and the field I'm in, I'm surrounded by very intellectual individuals when it comes to the field of engineering, right? Intellectual can mean so many different things, but as far as the field of engineering and problem solving and that, they know they stuff, right? And so when it comes to them, I look up to them because they're, so much older and so much wiser and have so much more experience than I do it forces me to not just sit around and just, not learn. It forces me to actually want to get to their level eventually. That way I could be a equal contribution to the team. And I'm not just a hindrance, or I'm not just there. And so with me, it's very easy to be motivated to get out there and try to figure things out with them, because I know if I can't figure it out, I know they gonna figure it out. But I still, what I'm saying, I want to do my part and do my best to figure it out, but I still have a safety net behind me just in case it doesn't work out, right? And so when it comes to extracurricular activities, this could be the same thing. You find a group of people that you ride bikes with. You find a boxing gym. You find a group of podcast. I'm starting to connect with different podcasters around DFW, and my Rolodex is growing. You feel me? Like I got people out in Plano. I got people out in Little Elm. Like, it's growing, and it's amazing because now I get all these different perspectives, and it's still podcasting, but they're talking about different topics, and it's interesting to see how they do their production and how they set up and the cameras they use and how they go about recording their content compared to how I go about recording my content. And so it's cool to see that and to know, hey, we're going through this, we're going through the same thing. We learning, we growing, and we're just trying to get better. And so it's dope to have those people around you that are going along the same track, going in the same direction as you. So find your tribe, find your people that rock with you, that you rock with, and y'all can just grind it out together to get to that common goal that you guys have. Get rid of distractions and learn how to focus, right? So, what does this look like? Putting that phone down, going back to the 60 minutes and 5 minutes. I took it serious because I tried it the first time, still had my phone out, failed miserably. It went horribly. I was right back on my phone like 15 minutes into it. And so what I had to do was completely shut off the phone. So I shut off the phone, put the phone deep in my backpack. So I literally had to put in work to look at Instagram, look at all these different things before that 60 minutes was up. So the only thing now I created a greater barrier of getting to what I wanted, right? It wasn't enough to just have the phone in my hand. I wanted to actually unlock the phone and look at Instagram posts, right? And so now I created an even bigger barrier. Now I have to dig in my backpack. Now I gotta wait for the phone to turn on, and then I can get to Instagram. It's a greater barrier. So set that greater barrier. Go to the extreme and put your phone in your car when you go into work if you're able to and capable of. That way, when you're at work, you're focused on working. Take that lunch break, cool. Go get your phone, do what you got to do, and then go back into. If you want to go that extreme, I've never gone that extreme, but I'm just saying that's an option. Um, but you want to create a big barrier, a barrier comfortable for you that's reasonable, right? That way you don't get distracted while you are trying to work. And so figure out what that barrier is for you and execute on that barrier. Now, for me, I will say I have left my phone upstairs while I go out on the floor and work on machines. That helps, right? And so I'll do that, but I've never just left it in the I've left it in the car for church. I've left it in the car for church before. Last but not least, last but not least, whatever gets rewarded gets repeated. Whatever gets rewarded gets repeated. Reward yourself. For example, when I was last week, I was helping the engineer set up his machine. He had a new machine come in. They were setting it up, and he wanted me to look at some prints and find a place to plug in power, right? Or well, to intercept the power. And so I went through the prints. I found it real quick. I was like, okay, it's here. He was like, dang, like you getting a lot better at prints. I was like, yeah, I have. And the story behind that is the first time he asked me to do that, which was when I first started. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about the page numbers and how they lined up with the sensor numbers, and like I didn't know the shortcuts or tricks or anything about Prince. But then I took a week to literally study Prince. I literally studied, okay, when a sensor has a number, that's usually correlated to a page number. So in my case, the sensor number was 120.2, whatever. Okay, and then I went and remembered, oh crap, let me go to page 120. Lo and behold, that sensor was there. I found the machine or the conveyor, and then I went over to the page where the conveyor was at and found the power. And I was like, hey, this is the port you're looking for. He found it, cool. And that was that. And so if it wasn't for me putting in that week of actually sitting down and understanding Prince, I probably would have been lost. I'm not even gonna hold you. I probably wouldn't have found it. Or it would have taken me a lot longer to find what I was looking for because I didn't put all that stuff that I learned into memory and write it down and do all these different things. And so when it comes to getting rewarded, how does that tie in? That, affirmation of, dang, like you're actually improving, like you're getting better, you're doing good. And so doing that and then going off and working on my own machine when something went wrong. Hey, there's a problem with this jacking line. Go get it fixed. And so I was like, oh Lord, I don't I don't know what's wrong with it. And lo and behold, it was a problem that happened, a couple weeks back, and I knew exactly what to do. So I fixed it, texted my boss, hey, problem's fixed, we good. And when I tell you that was a good feeling, to hit her with the problem solved. I got it. It's taken care of. I figured it out. And so be able to send that message and just be like, hey, I'm contributing to this team without the assistance of another engineer, whether it was a problem that already existed or not, and that I've already solved or not, it still felt good to be able to solve that problem without the assistance of another engineer. You see what I'm saying? And so just to be able to do that and her, recognizing that and, seeing that, okay, like he's actually, doing this thing. And then, the bonuses and the raises and her wanting me to stay and, stay with the team after I graduate, all that work is becoming worth it. You see what I'm saying? Going from not even knowing what a PLC was to programming my own program to now fixing machines on my own, like this short time period, year and a half, like I've come a very long way. And so to see that and see the fruits of my hard work starting to show now, it only motivates me to work even harder than I currently am. And so that's what I mean by get rewarded. Your reward can be whatever it may mean to you. It could be ice cream after you put in a lot of work. It could be a YouTube 100K subscriber plaque. It could be whatever it may be for you, whatever that means to you. But have rewards set up along the journey. That way you get that gratification. That way you get, that stimulus that you need to keep pushing forward. Because you don't want to just work, 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 and not reward yourself ever. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to reward myself until I reach, this milestone that's all the way. Like, nah, don't do that. Now, don't go crazy with the rewards, but you know what I'm saying? Give yourself a little reward. In my case, I'm not going to give myself an external reward for fixing a machine at work. Like that's something I should be doing, right? Now it's taken me a while to get to that point to get that knowledge, but the reward was my coworkers recognizing that I am starting to contribute to the team efficiently. And so that was reward enough for me. So figure out what that reward is for you and go from there. So those are the six right there. Set specific goals, use the +1 method, take time to critique your work, find people that will run with you, get rid of distractions and learn to focus. And last but not least, whatever you do, whatever gets rewarded gets repeated. So get those rewards as you start hitting these milestones, and you'll just see yourself get more locked in and more locked in as you continue along your journey. I hope you guys are enjoying the episode. If you are, down in the description, there'll be a link to donate to the podcast. $1, $5, $10 every single month. Give the brother, help a brother out special. I greatly appreciate it. Share the podcast, fam. Repost. If you're watching, you know what I'm saying? Just take a little screenshot and post, hey, I'm listening to the brother next door right now. I'm watching the brother next door. It'd be greatly appreciated because then I'm going to repost you. So I'm going to repost you, reposting me, and I'm going to greatly, and we're going to rock out and have a good time. So continue rocking with me, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Peace.